my favorite sports memory has nothing to do with baseball, and it's one
Really?
of your favorite sports. I know, I think I know from past conversations. It involves golf.
Oh, of
Well,
course. How could I not?
no, but
Okay, let's go.
All right, and welcome everybody to another Dad Hat Chronicles podcast, DSU podcast. My name is Ed, also known as the Dad Hat. So we are doing 5 questions again, guys. This is seemed to be taking off, and it's been a lot of fun with a lot of people that have been interested in coming on, and I love that. It makes me feel good inside. So today on this podcast, we have my good friend Terry McCutcheon. Terry, how you doing? First of all, how you doing, my friend?
oh, I'm wonderful. Much better than I deserve, Ed. Man, it's going
Wow.
great.
I love that. Love to hear that. All right, Terry, before we continue, before we do our 5 questions, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. So the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, very good. Appreciate that, Ed. My name is Terry McCutcheon, as Ed said in the introduction. I born and raised in Texas, lived here all my life, in Abilene, Texas, exactly about a couple hours to the west of Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Mm-hmm.
I was in education, teacher, administrator, all that for my career. We moved around a little bit during that, but I retired about 4 or 5 years ago and moved back home, if you will. We got a summer baseball league team in 2024, the Abilene Flying Bison. Became a huge fan. Do everything I can to help there, including member of the booster club. So that's been very beneficial, very fun. And it was through 2024 is where I actually really got my love again for baseball, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit. So,
you know what? It's funny how people say it's like, as adults, sometimes like we lose sight of baseball. We lose sight of what we really grew up in and the love that we have for the sport. And somehow, one way or another, there's that, that one moment that just it brings us back. But we will talk about that on our questions, my friend. So, as a matter of fact, the very first question is, and I would love to know because everybody's different. When did you fall in love with baseball?
Well, I fell in love with it as a kid. When at my age here, where we are, Little League baseball was the first organized sport that you could play. It was before football and basketball came down that way, and we didn't even have soccer here in town until I was in junior high.
Oh, so, really?
Really, for real. I know that blows your mind, Ed, but yeah, soccer for youth wasn't even here. And so, I played Little League baseball starting about 8 years old, and that was always the favorite in my family. My grandparents, were big baseball fans, and had my uncles and dad had played baseball on into fast pitch softball, which was pretty big in our area for a while for adults before the slow pitch softball took over, the tournaments and stuff like that. So, I mean, I had traveled around my dad and uncle all over the West Texas as chasing foul balls at fast pitch softball tournaments. So,
really?
I did, yeah. Matter of fact,
that's insanity, man.
I remember one tournament, normally they give you a Coke or a snow cone for a foul ball. Well, this little tournament, they gave you a nickel for every foul ball you returned.
That's funny.
It was an all-night tournament, and so I think I was the only kid there chasing foul balls. So I got rich that weekend. I think I made $1.50 or something like that. But anyway, I thought I was king of the world, rich.
You're like, oh yeah, this is my life right here. This is what what's all about.
Yeah, but that's where my love began. I couldn't play when they started throwing curveballs.
We were out.
I was out. I realized too late that I needed glasses, so I couldn't see well. That might have held on a couple of years. Let me play a little longer, but my contemporaries in school were very, very good. So, I kind of hung around the sport through high school. We had an excellent coach. My senior year, my high school won a state baseball championship. I was a manager on that team. And so that was kind of the culmination of a mini dynasty, if you will, here in Abilene at Cooper High School. Coach Andy Malone was the coach of that team. He's was a great coach in the state of Texas. So anyway, through him, I learned the intricacies of the game, and then through those guys that played, the hard work and all that stuff. And so because of that learning, I was a big fan for several years through then in college. And then through adulthood, when I was raising my own kids, they chose different paths. Neither one of them were baseball or softball players. We played golf a lot, so we turned into a golf and music family. But like I say, when I came back here and the team started in 24, that's when I refound my love of the game. So
This is not in 5 questions, but I gotta ask because obviously, that team. I want to get your feeling from a fan's perspective when you have a brand new team that's coming into town when there's never been a like because this is collegiate wood bat, right? This is some summer
yes,
league,
exactly. Summer collegiate wood bat. Mm-hmm.
summer collegiate wood bat. So like, what was that moment, right? Like for you when finding out and then getting involved with this team that did what did for you as a fan?
Well, as a fan, my wife and I had kind of discussed, we're at a different part of life. We had an independent minor league team here in the 1990s,
Mm-hmm.
1995 to 98, 99, called the Abilene Prairie Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very popular, and the league just folded. It just, it didn't last. And so we were newlyweds and had a baby. Our first child was born the first year. And so we didn't have enough money to get season tickets or anything, but we would go as much as we could.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like I say, we moved away, bounced around. And so Abilene itself had ball. They had another iteration of the Prairie Dogs who came, I think, in 2012 and lasted a half a season in a different league. But those were independent minor league teams. So
Gotcha.
when this team was announced, and they had been trying, Scott Kirk, a wonderful guy, had been trying to get baseball in Abilene for a few years. That was in place when we moved back. And a matter of fact, they announced they were going to have a team in 23, and it just didn't work out. So, that the wheels were setback. The wheels were greased already, and it was in the back of my mind, hey, this is going to be fun. And, then when it came to fruition, it was Abilene. We got a name. We're naming the team, and we've got a league, the Mid America League, and all that came to pass. Then I was like, I want to do everything I can to help. I work, even though I'm retired in education, I do have a job with a signage company, and we make some signs. And so I'd reached out to the team and said, hey, we would like to help if you need it. If we'll give you a price. But other than that, I would like to volunteer and help and do anything I can to help. And so much so I probably get in the way sometimes of them. But no, I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, you most certainly did.
It was
you
just
did
whatever we can do to help support the team, to if just a little bit help it stay. We don't want this thing to go away because the city needs it. The kids love it. The families love it. It's just needed here in town, in my opinion. And it's a wonderful night during the summer when there's not a lot going on. So,
it's funny you say that. And again, we're veering a little bit off because we've never really had an interaction, on a podcast, but like the not only the economical part of all of this of having a team in a town such as Abilene, right? Because I'm sure Abilene's not as a bigger town as the other towns, right? But it's that need, right? Because it does bring jobs, it does bring the economic development and help and all of that. But what it actually does to, like you said something that that it resonates with me. The families need it here. Like they like it, they love it because you get to go do something other than just being at home watching TV or the tablets or things like that.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. It's a relatively cheap, inexpensive evening for a family of however many. The kids are welcome, and those college students that are playing the game are so welcoming and so encouraging to those kids. They'll high five them all, autographs, whatever. And of course the players, then they might as well, the little leaguers that are here in town, they don't know the difference between Aaron Judge and Samson Pugh, who's one of our players from last summer. They just know they're a ball player that's on that field, and I'll take their autograph anytime and whatever.
Absolutely. Also, you never know, right? Because
you're right.
A lot of these kids started in for example, one of the ones that I know that is near and dear to me, the Northwoods League, right? Because a lot of people a lot of major leaguers play there.
Sure. Yeah, those guys have to play somewhere in the summer, and we've in the league already had 2 or 3 guys drafted, and I anticipate others because there's been some high quality baseball players come through, not just Abilene but the whole league. so that's fun to see.
Nice. I love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So, all right, my friend. Okay, so that's question number 1. On to question number 2.
Yeah, it sounds like this might turn into 10 questions instead of 5.
I know, eventually. Exactly, right? So, officially, question number 2. Officially.
Yes,
all right. All right. Tell me, obviously you have it's a 2-part for you because younger, you left, didn't follow baseball for too much, and then you came back. So I want to get your sports memories for you, some of your favorite sports memories.
Oh, wow. Gosh, there's so many of them at my age. And there's probably some that I've forgotten even, but the most vivid memories tied to sports. I'll start with baseball
Sure.
specifically, and then I'm going to end with a non-baseball one.
Absolutely. This is your podcast, my friend.
In high school, that team I told you about,
yeah.
My senior year, like I say, I was a manager and an athletic trainer on the team and made the state tournament. And the state tournament then was played at Dish Falk Field on the University of Texas campus.
That's pretty cool.
And that team happened that year through the playoffs to go through several pitchers who ended up pitching in the major leagues. David Need and Butch Henry, I think. And I mean, there's several players. Willie Ainsley was drafted in the first round. But anyway, the semifinal game was against a team in Houston that Brian Bohannon was the pitcher, and he was a first-round draft pick. And they were supposed to beat us. And I'll tell you, that team that I played on, or that I had played on, strike that, I did not play. The team that I was, our high school team was one of the best accumulations of talent back then, before all the money started being spent on travel ball and college ball and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But I think every one of those starters and a lot of the kids on the bench ended up playing college ball somewhere. Many of them played, up to AA, AAA. But they just battled, and that team won 1-0. But it was saved. That Bohannon kid, the pitcher, also batted. Of course, they do in high school. Well, he hit a ball in the gap, and our center fielder made a diving catch going away from home plate, to save. There was a runner on base, so he saved no runs, saved that inning, and then he hit a solo home run. So it was a 1-0 game, and so that's one of my vivid memories there of baseball.
That's pretty cool.
Then I'm trying to think. In college, I was a big fan. I went to A&M for a few years. I didn't graduate there, but I went to A&M, and I spent a lot more time following the baseball team than I did studying. That's why I didn't graduate from there. But
we've all been there.
That was back in the Mark Johnson era. And if you look it up, our friend Eric Profit, his hometown Wichita State team won the national championship. I believe it was in 1989. Well, the 89 Texas A&M team was number 1 all year long. They only lost like 7 games. But at the time they didn't have the super regionals. They had 1 regional, 6 teams in each regional. LSU was in our region as a number 2 seed.
Ooh.
And LSU ended up beating A&M 2 games on a Sunday to go to the College World Series that year and knock A&M out. But they were led by Ben McDonald, and that was the team. And it ended up kind of jump-starting LSU into their greatness back in 1989. But that's one of my heart-sinking memories.
Oh, I've been there. It was plenty of those.
I do remember a player on that team, John Byington, hit 2 ninth-inning home runs against the University of Texas that year to beat them. That was awesome. Since then, of course, 2023 World Series for the Rangers. You had the heartbreak of 11 and, those teams, but finally getting over the hump in 2023. That's why I enjoy what's going on in the American League with the Blue Jays, even though they hadn't won it in a while, and the Mariners. Either one of those make me ecstatic.
Obviously, as you already know, I'm a Cleveland fan, right?
Yes,
so,
sir.
like,
Yes.
I wanted Cleveland to make it. Obviously,
Most
they
definitely
didn't. But the fact that we have 2 new teams that have not been there in such a long time, in the Blue Jays and the Mariners have never been to the World Series, right? So you kind of feel for both teams, like I don't want to root against them, any of them, just because it's a great story already as it is. You just want good baseball.
Yeah, either fan base is going to be happy. And, my friend Patrick Larson, our friend there,
yes, sir.
He'll be ecstatic for the Blue Jays, and I'll be happy for him. But then, either one of those fan bases, but even on the National League side, it's going to be great with the two best teams from the National League too, the Brewers.
And you had the best team all year, right? In the Milwaukee Brewers.
Absolutely.
So creating those memories and watching those memories. It's been like, I was actually having a conversation with a fellow friend of ours, Eric Prophet, right? And that night, the game where the Mariners and the Tigers went full 15 innings, right?
Yes.
We went live because it was like, we might as well go do something, right?
I went back and listened to a little bit of that today, Ed.
So we were there and we were watching it and we were experiencing it, all of us, for the first time together, because it was such a great moment. And there's like, these are two really good teams that are battling, right? Like, I mean, they're pulling their bullpen, they're pulling their starting pitchers and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a cool experience. It's like, I think I'm going to eventually add that as, what is one of my favorite memories, right?
Yeah. I bet that was cool. Yeah. We had gone to a high school football game, as we do every Friday night here in Texas. Mm-hmm. But getting back, we were kind of following along with it on our phone and, still going when we get home. And my son-in-law and I, honestly, we got to rooting for, hey, let's just get the record. If we're going to watch baseball this late,
I know, right?
Get the record, whatever. And I know nobody else wanted it, but
it was close.
We got pretty close. So.
Yeah, so it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right, sorry, I was going to finish the question.
Yeah.
My favorite sports memory has nothing to do with baseball, and it's
really?
It's one of your favorite sports. I know. I think I know from past conversations. It involves golf.
Oh, of course. How could I not?
No, but like I told you earlier, my son went the golf route, and he played in high school, and I was fortunate enough to be the quote, and I'm going to do that in air quotes, but I mean the coach of that team. I drove him around and tried to keep him out of trouble. But anyway,
that's how it usually goes.
They as a team, I'm going to say we, but were able to qualify for the state tournament, which had never happened in school history. Through that year, they had set several school records in their score, and that was fun because it really was a bunch of kids who didn't play golf when they were little. Mm-hmm. My son had probably played the longest. Now they ended up being very good golfers. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Several of them played in college, and that was nothing on me. That was all their hard work and stuff. But that was a fun group. It was really rainy in the regional tournament, and we overcame the weather and just battled. And they had a playoff that they had to beat the other team to qualify, and so they were able to do that. And that was a fun experience to experience that with those kids and to see them experience that. So
not only that, I think you're hiding is like, what, your experience with your son.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. That's what made it. And, he and I have those memories forever. And
you will always have those.
Golfers, I don't know. We're nuts. We can still go back and talk about it. If a round comes up, we can both go back shot for shot and, kind of replay that round in our minds. But
that's cool, though. I like that. Like, listen, again, this podcast is obviously for a lot of fans of baseball, but at the same time, if you want to come on the podcast and you want to talk about, how you fell in love with golf or how you fell in love with football, please do, contact me, because these are the things that, like, and we're not getting political, but like, there's so much stuff going on in the world that at the very least we can escape and do it in a way in which sports just does it like nothing else.
Most definitely. And it may fit under another question, but that's what I love about, going to the baseball games in the summer. You'd asked me a little bit earlier, is we've got fans in our booster club, but just fans that come in general that you become friends with just because of the game. And they're all different political persuasions and opinions and all that stuff.
All walks of life.
But when it comes through the gate, we're all Abilene Flying Bison fans, and we just love on each other and enjoy the games together. And that is what's cool.
I love that.
I just wish there was more of that throughout the world, and then we could, when we have differences of opinions, we could then, hey, let's just talk about this a little bit, see where you come from, see where I come from. Let's come up with a consensus. But
absolutely. And if we want to fight, let's fight about sports, because there's nothing wrong about fighting about sports, because that's exactly the best part of.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's funny because on the DSC sports show, it's like, obviously a lot of us have different opinions when it comes to sports. We argue about it and everything, and then all of a sudden we forget about it once it's done. It's like, all right, guys, love you guys. Gotta go. See you later.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's always fun stuff. All right, my friend. Look at that. Question number 3.
All right.
Tell me about some of your traditions, some of your rituals as a fan of sports.
Okay.
That you have.
Sure. One, I like to get to a game early.
I like that.
As close to gate opening time as I can, for several reasons. If it's baseball, a lot of times, there's a handout or whatever.
Absolutely.
I don't care what it is. If it's free, you got to have one, right?
It's a giveaway. It's free.
It's a giveaway, whether I need it, want it, or whatever. But got to have one.
Absolutely.
But no, I love getting there early and scoping out my seat, getting set up, and then scoping out the concessions, the different views, things along those lines. So that's kind of a tradition. Things that I collect caps, thanks to people like the Dad Hat Chronicles and those kind of people. It's rubbed off. So usually at every game I go to, I'll buy a cap.
Okay.
First of all, it may be one, it may be 3 or 4, but we'll see.
It depends. Yeah.
Thanks, Tulsa Drillers. But
yeah, right.
Anyway, I buy at least one of those. Concessions wise, I try to buy an ice cream helmet.
Of course.
I've got that. And
of course.
Then
Eric and Paul.
If I don't, yeah, exactly. Thanks to them, and like I need another collection. But I like to try out the signature food. It's not necessarily a hot dog and a beer or a hot dog and Coke or anything. Whatever if they have a signature item,
yeah,
I like to try that out. And so at some point in time in the game, so we don't eat previous meal, whatever it is, before going to the game. That's not the most economical way to go to the game.
It is not, but it is
what it is. It's our journey.
But the rationale goes out the window when it comes to sports.
Yes, you're right. And then my wife and I really kind of knew for us is going to the games together. This summer we had a 100-game challenge within it to ourselves. That game 100 was in Chicago at Wrigley Field.
That's cool. Congratulations.
Behind me. Thank you very much. We ended up going to 102 or 3 total, but game 100 was at Wrigley. But throughout that journey, we wanted to keep the books, but my wife is the one that actually keeps the books.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want my chicken scratch on there. She wants to do it her neat way with her sharpened pencils and all that stuff. So that's
awesome.
That's her.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Kelly Robinson, the Minor League Nerd. My YouTube channel explores the history of minor league baseball teams. More than just stats, we delve into team lineage, sharing stories from current franchises to obscure one-year wonders.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.